for the biggest book in my life so far, I believe. Billie Holiday Jazz Singer. Yeah, this is my 13th book. Woo! Yeah! Alice, I'm gonna give you.
I got it.
You got it already? Okay, I'll sign it later. Okay, and wow, this has been a journey. Hey, Miss Georgia. I think you might have to, unless you bring a chair, you can go in that. You might have to
right
sit
here.
in. Oh, we got one right here. One right here. One right here. One right here.
There's a chair right here.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Miss George. How you? We got you a program.
Oh, gotcha. Here you go, Miss George.
Here you go, Miss George. I need one. Okay.
I'm videotape.
Okay, so you see this beautiful picture of Billie Holiday on the cover? She doesn't look like it, doesn't she? She was 22 years old. And I picked this picture because, for one, I didn't imagine this magazine cost 10 cents. Billie Holiday died over 64 years ago. She's a historic figure, and her place in music is larger than life. Her music is still selling. She became the defining voice in jazz when she was 18 years old. And there's a story about how she got her first record deal. She was just an ordinary girl in Harlem trying to make money to help her mother pay rent. Because she was doing the Great Depression. And she was walking from table to table, singing for tips without a microphone. And John Hammond, the grandson of a Vanderbilt Railroad person, was there, and he worked for Capitol Records, and he was a record scout. He was there for Monette, who owned the club. And Billie Holiday was a teenager who was working in her club with just ordinary clothes on. Well, anyway, he offered Billie Holiday a record deal because she had a new sound. Her sound was so different that people were saying it was lazy like a draw. They didn't, because her sound was different from Ethel Waters or Bessie Smith, her idol. Bessie Smith she was stomping the stage loud. She was different. It was a different form of music. But anyway, she got her deal, and Monette left New York and went to California, but she kept getting recorded. But that's how it is. You know, a younger person will upstage a older person in real life. So you just have to keep going and keep changing. Billie Holiday kept changing her style. Every time jazz changed, she redid her whole catalog to fit whatever and she ushered in something new with her style of jazz. And I just have a few facts about her. Um, I wanted to do her quote. No two people on earth are alike, and it's got to be that way in music, or it isn't music. Now, to me, she really felt that in her bones that she had to be different. A lot of girl singers of her time were trying to imitate Ethel Waters, but she was like, "No, I'm me and nobody else." And she just did it to Billie Holiday. Well, she invented that name, Billie Holiday. Her and one of the things that I found when I was doing. Oh, by the way, those are the books I used, and these are the articles to do this research. This is her first pocketbook, which gave her the title author.
Hold it up.
That's a pocket. That book was published January 1956, and that's an original book I bought at Lake Books. And I was gonna see can you come and read the forward and introduce yourself and tell a little bit about? She's a jazz singer,
Oh, okay.
Tawana Shante. She's also the wife of Dr. Rico Chapman, who is the dean of the School of Social Science.
Liberal arts. Liberal arts.
Liberal arts. She corrected me. Thank you. But they're both friends. Now, come on. Yes. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey.
I am recording.
Okay.
Well, I have to just say, I kind of just sit like this, nigga.
Sure.
I just have to say, like, when Meredith reached out to me to do the foreword for this book, I was like, oh, okay. But I was really super excited that she did because I'm like you, I'm such a Billie Holiday fan, and just growing up, I just absorbed her music, and her path to how she got to stardom, but also the road that it took for her to get there. So I'll read the forward. And I was 17 when I recorded my first song. However, I don't remember the age when I initially heard the song God Bless the Child. I do remember how it made me feel. I recall paying close attention to the lyrics and melody, which were cheerful, whimsical, and warm. The song offered a soundscape of guidance for independence. And I always love, I might hum a little because I always love. I probably had to be, I remember finding this song in my life. I don't know if I was at my grandmother's friend's house. I don't know where I was, but when I first heard this song, and it just got me. And it was, them that's got shall get, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible say, and it's still this news. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child. It's got his own. It's got his own. When I was 16, my music mentor, Melvin Housecat Hendrick, he introduced me to Billie Holiday's. Yeah, Billie Holiday's music. He asked what songs that I desired to learn and sing, and I named a few pieces, including Billie Holiday's "God Bless the Child." A few weeks later, we visited his friend's home studio, which had an incredible jazz collection. He played Lady Day's recording from her diverse catalog of songs. Some songs I knew and some songs I didn't. However, I enjoyed getting more familiar with the musical classics. What I do remember is that her music was alluring. While listening to her music, I listened closely to the nuances in her voice and the way she manipulated phrases and tempos. I discovered that her music and lyrics were her survivor's license. I then understood that it was enchanting. That is what was enchanting to her audience. Not to mention her vocal style and improvisation skills strongly influenced jazz vocalists and music. Meredith Coleman McGee tells a compelling story of Billie Holiday's ability to interpret the music the way she did. Holiday's Holiday's turbulent childhood, her abusive relationships, her drug addictions, how the government informants plotted to destroy her career, and the joy she found through true, meaningful, organic friendships molded her musical growth. Also, the emotional joys and pains she shared through her musical creative process were authentic. Billie Holiday's song Strange Fruit is sadly one of America's most potent revolutionary songs. She was arguably the most dynamic artist in music history. Though she lived an American horror story, her life and music revealed the incredible amount of tenacity that she had to endure tragedies and triumphs to fight against injustices. Billie Holiday Jazz Singer by Meredith Coleman McGee offers an incredible scenes into Lady Day's short life that reflects light on society's complexities as a reminder that you don't have to be perfect to create meaningful change.
Very good. Very good.
I ain't get your book.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, she just made a statement that you don't have to be perfect to become great. Billie Holiday was not great, but I don't care what she did. She great. You can't take anything from Lady Day. She became great. She she broke so many records, and Strange Fruit was the defining song for Billie Holiday. She recorded Strange Fruit when she was 23, just 1 year older than this picture on the cover of this book. Now, there's a list of protest songs on the back of your program.
I thought Nina Simone did that, or did Nina write?
You got a program? Okay. And I'm just going to list some of them. Old Freedom, Post-Civil War, Negro Spiritual, 1850. Lift Every Voice and Sing, 1905. Alabama Song, 1925. Strange Fruit, 1939. I'm going all the way down. Rockstar, The Baby, 2020. Okay. But anyway, when Billie Holiday sung this song, Strange Fruit, which described the double lynching of two men to an integrated, the first integrated audience in New York, 1939. The government did not like it. They did not want jazz to integrate the city. So they went down there and they asked Billie Holiday, they sent people not to sing the song anymore because the crowd was just growing and growing and growing. And you know what she did? She closed her act by singing Strange Flute, and when she had a way of singing the last word, crop. They said when she first started singing it, she would put so much emotion into singing it that she herself would start crying because she reportedly never actually saw anybody get lynched. But I've never seen anybody get lynched either. But I'm a black woman that grew up in Mississippi. And the thought of someone that looks like my uncle, daddy, cousin, brother hanging from a rope horrifies me in 2024. So you don't have to have witnessed the storytelling of it. My grandma used to tell us stories when I was a little girl that were just wow. I mean, I could still feel the pain of the story. But anyway, she sung all of her music with such passion. She started singing when she was 13 years old. I mean, at good time houses, on the waterfront and the red light district. And,
Where did she grow up? Excuse me.
well, she grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. At one time, she lived in what you call Pigtown, which was a slum area. Babe Ruth grew up in Pigtown, but he had a two-parent household. But and then when she was 13, she moved to Manhattan and then to Harlem, and she kept singing. Three men infiltrated her inner circle to bring her down because she refused to stop singing Strange Fruit. The NAACP for years had a large banner that said, "A man was lynched today." And the government got the NAACP to take the banner down right before she started singing Strange Fruit. I think it was in 38. The banner was taller than his house.
Wow.
But the NAACP did not own the building, so they were forced to take it down. And so after they took it down, she started singing. So some people said that she had something to do with that. No, she did not have anything to do with NAACP. She was just a member of the jazz community, and she was a member of the jazz jam sessions. And she was um, she was just a great person. There was other things that she did in terms of breaking ground and towards integration, and they had a huge impact. The whole jazz community on popular culture. Um, for instance, Lester Young, who played behind many of her famous songs, um, when he was in the band, and if someone said an insult, he would take a little broom and dust his shoulder off. And then 2009, Jay Z
Uh-huh.
does it not with the broom,
Yeah.
but Lester Young was the first one to say, I'm just saying the impact of jazz community overall. To say, it said, well, Lester, you want to do this gig? He would say, well, how does the bread smell? And all these things just went into popular culture, like Daddy O. This is Daddy. Billie Holiday saying that, and other things. It was amazing the impact that they had on popular culture that still exists today. But I didn't want to do any just. I didn't want to spill. I want you to read the book to find out some of the things that I wrote. But I want to take any questions.
But was she working at all with Paul Robeson or either Louis Armstrong during the same time period?
I heard Louis Armstrong. What was the other name?
Paul Robeson.
No, not Paul Robeson. But Louis Armstrong was her greatest influence, and Bessie Smith. So there wouldn't be a Billie Holiday without Louis Armstrong, and there wouldn't be jazz without Louis Armstrong, because he was a part of Storyville, which was the area where jazz was really developed. It grew out of ragtime and blues and other music, and of course Bessie Smith was one of her other, because she was completely different. But Bessie Smith changed her song catalog too, because the Vanderbilt style of singing went out um, around 33, and then she changed hers as well. Uh, any other question?
What was her name before it was Billie Holiday?
What was
Her name.
Billie Holiday? Okay, she was born Eleanor Harris in Philadelphia, and then her mother, she went by Fagan, which was her mother's father's name. And then her mother married when she was 5 years old, Gall, and she went by Gall. So she had in her young life
G-O-L-F.
Gough.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she became a singer, she changed her name. She changed her name when she became a singer.
She said she changed her
her
name when she became a singer.
Her stage name, she created the stage name. I think when she was 17, Billie Holiday. Her father used to call her Bill. Her favorite silent actor was Billy Dove, and her father was Holiday. And this was something that even Ethel Waters did. Back then, to be a bastard child was a huge stigma. So when Ethel Waters herself became a singer, she changed her name to Waters to give herself some legitimacy by taking her father's name. Billie Holiday did the same thing. She gave herself, but at the time when she started singing at 18, her father was in the Fletcher Henderson band, and in my research, I found that he recorded one song, but he usually played in the band. But Louis Armstrong taught the members of the Fletcher Henderson band how to swing. It was first swing, then bebop, and all of that.
I want to learn how to do that.
Question. Strange fruit. I associate that more with what's the
Nina Simone.
Nina Simone. No. I said a Jewish man wrote it. Abby Merle.
And
Nina
he
Simone did it in
approached-
'65.
Yeah, she
Okay.
recorded. That's why
She
I-
covered it.
Oh.
That's why it's in my mind.
Right.
Because it was 65 in my day and time. And history shows that who wrote this? Oh, the Jewish guy. And he
Oh.
approached Billie Holiday.
A Jewish person wrote it.
Okay.
And it was first called Bitterfruit when he first published the poem.
Called what?
Bitterfruit.
Bitterfruit.
But then, then he changed it to Strange Fruit. And he asked Billie Holiday if she would sing it. And then they uh, wrote out, changed it for lyrics.
Okay.
Why Billie Holiday?
Oh, good
And I'm
question.
going to get you.
Okay.
Well,
She was popular.
well, musically, she's one of my favorites. And I fell in love with her when I was about 15. You see that big picture of Billie Holiday? It ain't on the wall or nothing.
Oh, okay.
There's one in my daddy's room. There's one in the hall. I got, I like music. I got a collection of Billie Holiday's music. But strategically, I wanted to do Billie Holiday because I wanted to. First of all, I had already had a base. I did a research paper on Billie Holiday in 1986 when I was in college. So I thought I had something, a starboard. When I started doing my research, a lot of stuff I had in the book, I found out was not necessarily accurate. So I had to just start over again. But I did have a start, and strategically, I thought that Billie Holiday would help get my name out further. The book I did on my uncle, it went out there in the abroad in the textbook market, and I put this one in the textbook market as well. And so, what is your question?
And that movie that came out a couple of years ago with Andrea Day, the United States versus Billie Holiday, like how historically accurate was that? That movie and her portrayal of Billie Holiday.
Well, in a way, that one is kind of more accurate than Lady Sings the Blues. But Lady Sings the Blues, um, her estranged husband became the first black booking agent in Hollywood when he did that, and he had Billy D to portray him as
Nice.
a good guy.
Okay. Nice.
And then in the United States versus Billie Holiday, it does show her activism, and I think both women did just an amazing job. Bankhead, the actor who was also a friend of Billie Holiday, they had a scene with her there. In this book, Bankhead and her one of her former managers, um, John Levy, and several other actors would not let Billie Holiday put them in Lady Sings the Blues at all. They asked her to just delete their name altogether. So what I found historically is that nobody really mentions Lester Young and her father. Her father actually took her to introduce her to clubs in the jazz scene, but he didn't think that they would accept her style of singing. But John Hammond felt that her style of singing, which was kind of slow and with a drawl, defined jazz, and she was right to do her own thing. Lester Young, the same way. Coleman Hawkins was the saxophonist before him, and when he got into Flex to Hinder band in '34, they wanted him to sing the Coleman Hawkins style of saxophone. but he refused because he was just like Billie Holiday. He would say, "You gotta be original, man." He wasn't trying to be like nobody else, and neither was she. And they were just very good friends like that. Anything else?
Meredith, this is the 13th book.
Huh?
13th book in 11 years.
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
that a true
wow.
statement? Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
13 books
Wow.
in 11 years.
Yeah.
Woo!
Well, it's 7 Children's Book, Juneteenth Freedom Day. My picture dictionary, but by the way, this was done in 2019. It has been in July of 2019 downloaded practically every month in Japan because they start teaching their kids English when they're like 3 or 4 years old.
Okay.
And then Baby Bubble and Kay, my Lashida character, that's why I started wearing the Afro puffs to get in character with Lashida. But my Lashida, she's a little black girl that teaches history and civics, and she wears 2 Afro puffs. And one day on Terry Road, me and Vic were reading to a group of kids in a summer program, and one of the boys said, "Are you Lashida?" I didn't know how to answer the question. I just said no.
So the next question, Meredith. So what happened in 2012, or what happened in 2013 that just opened these gates for you? This creativity that's gone on now for 11 straight years and counting.
Darlene Dansler Collier. Married to Sin. You get the book.
I do.
Everybody seeing it straight glass.
This was my first published book.
I can't wait to read
And
it.
it's a story by Darlene Dansler Collier. I was working on this book and James Meredith Warrior at the same time.
Oh wow.
So Miss Darlene was, I think, like 56. And I got 18 rejection letters for James Meredith Warrior before I found the commercial publishing that just asked me to convert the book into a textbook. But by 6 rejection letters, she was like, "No more. I don't want nobody send me no more fancy letters. Let's start a publishing company." I said, "A publishing company?" I was like, "Is she serious?" But we started Mo's Dazzling Press. And then this was 2011. The book came out 2012 January. Then in 2013, I had a contract with Mo's Dazzling Press to do a book by Starkeisha and my first book, Odyssey. And Miss Darlene was like, "Nope, this named after my granddaddy, and then I just want this to be for my books and nobody else's." So I was forced to create Meredith to accept those 2 books that I had acquired as an acquisition for that company and started over again. And I just kept on. And to date, I've produced 38 books with 22 authors.
Oh wow. Yeah.
This woman right here. That's how I get in there.
But you were drawn to. I mean, I just read a little bit of her story. I haven't read the whole book, but it's a deep life of sexual abuse and generations, and so was it your connection to that woman and her story that kept you locked in at that? Is that
Well, I was already working on
you already
James
had the other
Meredith
one?
Warrior.
Okay.
I was interviewing people. I was already doing that. It's just that we completed hers first.
Yeah.
And that was my second and my biggest book of the first 12. Because this in like over 800 libraries around the world, and some, mostly here. But yes, I was already writing. Mm-hmm.
None of your books are banned because of the content, because of the subject. Any of your books have they been banned?
Band.
Mm.
You didn't get band ain't even get to be bad.
They don't read in Florida.
You know, you talk about Angie Thomas, somebody like that that was produced by a big company being banned, but you see the name on the back of this book.
You talking about the content? Yes.
I own the book.
That's why.
And I started over there in that little office right there. They call this a micro business. So I'm done with it. But if Billie Holiday take me wherever she want to, you know, we're gonna see some changes. But anyway, right now it's small. What you say? Uh-huh.
You know DeMarco?
I don't know him, but I know him well enough to know him.
I do know him. I do know him.
And I have creative freedom.
Okay.
And every author that ever came through Meredith Center, I gave them creative freedom. And that's important in the world. Because when you're somewhere and somebody tell you, you can't put this in there, you can't put that in there, and I want you to do that. But when you got creative freedom, your art is free. And I'm free.
All right.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I'm freedom. You see that?
All right now.
Yes.
Anything else?
How about influencers?
Ma'am?
Who has influenced you through the years?
Oh.
Oh.
Well,
I have to interrupt her to say number one, her mother, because her mother is most enterprising and amazing.
Okay.
yeah, so influence is I got a big village. Okay. And it's just gonna take me a minute to answer this question. When it came to Billie Holiday, my influence came from my older brother. I was introduced to my brother Bobby to Billie Holiday in 1978. I was 15, and we were both at Hines Agricultural High School. My mother's friend, Faye Stokes, was teaching there, and my dad's friend and her friend was the president of the junior college there. And I was in Callaway's district, but I had fun on that bus going to Hines Agricultural. Anyway, when I went to the library, Miss Fisher took us to an article where Billie Holiday was advising kids not to use drugs and alcohol. And we was just stunned because we was just thinking that we was going to hear about her fame and fortune and how she got all this fame and all of that. But that was, and my dad, jazz, that's the influence in terms of music. My dad, you know, I took care of him. He was sick here. This was one of his favorite CDs to listen to. John Coltrane and then Miles and all of those are in there. So he introduced us to jazz when we was this side. My brother was a DJ at the CB Club on the Strip, but he knew music different from me. I just liked it mostly like the ladies and I liked Ella and but my brother knew who owned the record label. Each member that played in the band and all of that's one influence. Also, my uncle was the first published author in our family, James Meredith, 1966. And my father became a published author 2001. My mother 2007. They all had publishing companies for their works, like Miss Darlene. I was the first one to produce other people. Then after college, my highest paying job at the college was at the Jackson Advocate. So that's one of my influences over here. Alice Tisdale. Yeah. Charles Tisdale. And she would always do the proofreading that Mr. Tisdale was like, don't bring me no two-sided story. And you know, but that's how I started writing professionally at the Jackson Advocate. I've been a contributor writer for Advocate for a long. So those are
lifelong.
yes. And so those are some of the influenced poetry. I started writing poetry in high school. My brother wrote poetry before me. My sister, my two younger sisters, they are also poets. Um, when I was in high school, our young black teachers gave us creativity. I even wrote a play back then at Hines Agricultural High School, and I went to Utica Junior College, and our teachers, oh my God, they wouldn't let you write a mark in a book. They were they expected greatness and the best from their students. So those are some of the people. And my grandmother had an 8th grade education. My grandfather, Captain Meredith, had a 5th grade education. But my grandmother used to tell us, if a task is once begun, never leave until it's done. Be the labor great or small. Do it well or not at all. And I was raised from that. That the best, my grandfather used to say, the best is the master, and the master will never have to worry about getting no money. So you know, I didn't know my grandfather. He down on too. But anyway, the stories, and I'm a family historian. You can look around. I just love history, so I put a little history in everything I've ever written because I love reading. Yeah.
So let's assume that there are only 5 books that are written about Billie Holiday, and I only have time to read one, only one. Why should I read yours?
You should read mine because Billie Holiday Jazz Singer covers her entire life from birth through her raising in Baltimore, through her expanding her own voice in Harlem and Manhattan, through her integrate being the first feature singer in the integrated club, and also it introduces you to jazz. Everybody may not know this, but jazz was first spelled JASS. Why was it spelled JASS? Does anybody know? No, don't say nothing. Anybody know?
We wanna know.
Right.
You don't know? Okay.
Yes.
So this book gives so much new information. And you know who put it in there? Meredith Coleman McGee. That's my brain.
So what?
Well, why is it called JSS here? JS.
What is JSS?
Oh, she got one more question.
I have one more question, but did you give us a clear answer for JASS?
No, not yet.
I didn't give it yet.
Oh, okay, all right. So let me tell you why I would pick this book.
Huh?
So let me tell you why I would pick this book. If I only got time to read one, and I got 5 from which to select, is because of your bibliography.
Oh,
When I see the bibliography, it's like, okay, this lady done some research. That's why I would pick your book. Because
Okay.
of the academic quality. That's
Yes.
why. It is just looking at the bibliography, I'm like, okay, I got to read this now. Okay.
And I take all my lessons. That's another person in my village. The acquisition editor who acquired James Meredith Warrior after I had she was a librarian. No, she was working for Greenville Publishing. And she connected me with Prager, which merged with ABC Clio, which is a textbook carrier. So I learned from her how to change a book into a scholarly book. So this is a scholarly book.
It is.
All right.
It's in the textbook market because it is well researched and documented. Yeah. So let me see what her name is. Her name is Emily Murchie Birch. That's how I got my deal. And also when I got my first commercial contract, I was imitating John Grisham, and I got a leather rare book on James Meredith Warrior that retails for $250, and they put that on the market for $44 in 2013, March 21st, 2013, and now they sell it for 65, and Walmart sells it for sometimes 80. So the value of the book has just stayed up. And when the James made a war, the first went to Germany. I was in Atlanta going to the library for a book event, and we was in a hotel room. And I was just running up and down the thing. Now, Everett Love Will has made it to Germany and Canada. Billie Holiday was released January 14th. And I looked at the sales report because I own the business, right? I own the company. But anyway, one book had went to Germany, and two had gone to Canada, and the rest in the United States. But I was just so proud, and I called Will and told him I think Billie Holiday gonna beat him. I wish he'd catch up with Uncle Jay one beat him too. In terms of the reach. But any other question?
JASS, please.
What does JSS stand for?
Oh, yes.
Oh, read the book, huh?
Well, I was just circling the ring to see if I could discuss it. But anyway, okay, so you ever heard of Storyville?
No.
And this, okay, Storyville is a section of New Orleans, not far from Bourbon Street, and it was named after a council person in New Orleans whose goal was to prevent prostitution citywide. So he made it all in one designated area, Conscious Street and some other streets. This is in the book, but anyway. So young Louis Armstrong and he was one of the people who was developed jazz early on. I think he played the cornet at that time. And so they had freedom of expression because they worked at the Bravos,
New Orleans.
and these madams were filthy rich.
Right.
Because they would hire the jazz bands to come and sing in their parlors, and they started developing jazz there. So that's why jazz, JASS, was the nickname for sex, because the music developed in the Bravos. And the women ran prostitution at that time, and they were just filthy rich. These ladies,
They had to be.
Babe Ruth won
They got a product to sell day and night.
they had these big elaborate mansions and all of that, and but this is our history. Blacks have contributed to music in a way that's just it's just oh my God. And it goes all the way back to the plantations, and it came from West Africa. We didn't come here dummies. We came here with skills. We knew how to play instruments. We knew how to play. Yes.
And Zulus.
Right. So anyway, that was the original spelling, and then they changed it to JZZ.
Okay.
So why the JSS?
She said
It was the code name for sex.
Oh, I got you.
Because this is where the music was. The biggest bands were playing in the mansions that was ran by the women who were filthy rich off of this industry. And then the
World's oldest profession. That's a profession.
Yes.
It is a profession.
So
it, not by blood, but God and
They're from
glory.
love.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so this lady here, I just gotta give y'all a little background about her. So I'm about 9, maybe about 9 years old. I don't know where she showed up from. She came to our neighborhood. She opened a business. She employed me at 9 years old. But you know, it's in my blood. So my dad and my grandmama and all them, they were sharecroppers and all that good stuff. Well, anyway, back to her. This lady has influenced me so much down through the years. I ran a whole store by myself.
Wow.
Do you hear me? A whole store, inventory and everything.
Oh.
She influenced me so much that I'm 8 years in with my own business.
Wow.
Right.
Woo!
So I call her. I tell you that I love you all the time, and it's good to have some people around you that can influence you. I could have been anything in the street, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But and also my mom, she employed her.
Verdition.
In Verdition.
Wow.
At the time, Verdition was a really good place to live.
Yeah,
Well,
it still is.
it still
It still
is.
is.
Let's say that. That's
Yeah,
right.
it still is.
But she influenced a lot of people, and they absolutely loved her from
Mhm.
one end to the next. They the whole neighborhood
Mhm.
absolutely love her. So she
Yeah.
is an inspiration, you guys, and it's good to
Mhm.
have on your team.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is
They
true.
tell me that I was the youngest person to woman to own a business in Verdition. I was 24 when I
Okay.
went down there. They used to have a little song, Pretty Mary Sunrise. But anyway, that's another. But yeah, so it's great to have a village, and it's great to be a village, and I strive to be positive. I'm 60.
All
To
right.
be positive, I want girls to look up and see a model that that inspire them to want to accomplish something. And I'm still trying. I'm still trying. But anyway, anything else?
I just want to end by, for me saying it once again, thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of the book. But I'm just so full of joy. And like, man, I remember your support, and that's when you've always been so supportive in terms of, with others as well. When I first started, even my career, you and your husband would show up at the concerts, and I'm like, oh, hey, Mary. So I'm really, like I said, just watching you here today and looking at your body of work, and I'm like this sister, just seeing the academic. Wow, it's amazing, and I'm excited for you, and I believe that this book is going to just soar. So that's what I'm putting in the atmosphere.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
And you always was a bookseller.
And I forgot, and she helped with writing our first business plan. So I was always so grateful for that, just having those type of people.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Okay, I'm finna go turn this food on so we can eat. What time is it, Keith?
4:30.
If I could get one more book, I'm on my way to a big event in North Carolina, and they asked me to bring an item to auction. So if you will give me, I'm gonna buy it, but I want you to just autograph it, not to anyone, and then let me have an extra copy of the program.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I'm gonna auction this off. There will be at least 600 people who will be.
Oh,
willing to
wow.
Where are you going?
Well, I'm going to an event for Black female pilots. I have a pilot's license myself.
Oh,
So
awesome.
there'll be a group of about 500-600 folks, and about 200 who are African American.
All right.
Yes.
Now, Meredith should be in mind that she is the first African American female pilot in Georgia.
Wow. That's awesome. Oh my God.
So one more book, please.
I love that. That is awesome. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah.
That is
Y'all
all
the best
about
audience I've
Ireland.
ever had.
I'm still recording.
You have one more to sign?
And let me just say again, I am impressed with the academic work. I used to teach at Howard University, and some of my students were PhD students.
Oh,
So I
wow.
know academic. The first thing I look at, okay, what's your bibliography? Are your notations correct?
Okay.
It's very well done.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, please.
And it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
well documented with images.
Yeah. Thank you. All
I
right,
am in-
that's all the, that's my casino money.
Thank you so much. Good call.
Yeah.
We can make it our own. Thank you, Jane. Okay.
Okay.
And we're warming up the chicken so that we can eat. And I hope you can eat before you leave. You saw the menu already.
Yeah.
Not detail, nothing detail. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna bless the food.
You go.
I'm gonna bless the food.
You gonna bless the food.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Every Father, we bless the name, bless the food and nourish our body. And people here have a good time for this party from Miss Meredith McGee,
Mm-hmm.
Billie Holiday, keep a dream alive for her, a legacy for her, a good party, we buy books and celebrate for her. In Jesus' name, we pray, amen.
Amen.